As an Arsenal fan, this has been a very, very difficult weekend. The football has been fantastic, hasn't it? Other than the Arsenal game. And every team that won their game, they looked so good. We've had so many goals. And then there's Arsenal with a 2-0 loss to Brentford. Obviously, I covered that game in detail and how I was feeling after the game in my match review, Operation Arsenal, which comes out every time Arsenal play. And just a reminder to everyone what that series is about. It's no cuts, no editing. It is raw emotion straight after the game. I literally record Operation Arsenal within the hour of the game finishing, sometimes within 10 minutes. So it's completely raw. I don't ever script things. I don't have notes. It is just me, the camera, and you guys get to hear how I'm feeling. Now, I don't normally do another video after the game, but because this weekend is the first weekend of the new season, because it's been so disappointing for Arsenal fans, if you're not an Arsenal fan, it's been a great weekend in general, hasn't it? Because you can laugh at us. We are the most banterous club around, aren't we? Everyone loves to banter Arsenal, and man, I've been feeling it. I really have. It's been a really tough weekend. Let's go through some of the results. This weekend, I mean, for a first weekend, this has been incredible. We've had a lot of highly entertaining games. I just finished watching Spurs versus City. Spurs were brilliant. They were so good, so resolute. They looked like they had a plan. And Man City, although they played really well in the first 15, 20 minutes or so, from then it was all Spurs. They deserved a 1-0 win. West Ham against Newcastle. What a game that was earlier on. I thought Newcastle were brilliant in that first half, but then West Ham just had the quality to win the game. And I tell you what, Antonio, he is going to have another fantastic season. And then, of course, on Saturday, we had United beat Leeds 5-1. I think that goes down as the most comprehensive display of the weekend. Manchester United were seriously impressive. It's quite scary. And that was without Varane in defence. That was without Sancho until he came on in the second half. Even Cavani wasn't on the pitch. And seeing Pogba get 4 assists, Fernandes get a hat-trick in the first game of the season, it's really tough watching that as an Arsenal fan, but congrats to United and their fans. That must have been amazing to watch, especially against Leeds. Brighton turned it around against Burnley. Chelsea got a fantastic 3-0 win against Palace. I think Palace will be okay this season. I think Vieira, once he gets to grip with the squad and gets some tactics going and they all gel, they've made some good signings in the window. I think they'll be okay, but obviously Chelsea are going to be a force this season as well. They looked so good. Really, really good. And Chalobah, the young guy, wow, what a moment for him. It was a bit of a... I could feel it, you know, when he kind of collapsed after he scored and he just looked so proud and so happy. He couldn't believe it. What a moment for him. Everton getting a 3-1 win against Southampton. That was another really good game. Leicester getting the job done against a very, I would say, a down Wolves side. Last season was tough for them, wasn't it? Watford, surprise win of the weekend so far, I would say, maybe. Well, I say so far. Probably the most surprising win. I think a lot of people have Watford going down again, but I don't know. You know, they've got some really good players in that team. Sarr, of course, and actually he scored in this 3-2 win. Aston Villa, again, this is why it's a surprise to me. They've recruited so well after selling Grealish, or even before selling Grealish even, and they will 100% be a top 10 team. I don't really understand how they haven't beaten Watford, but hey, it's not easy sometimes playing against these promoted sides, eh? Arsenal. Liverpool, of course, got a 3-0 win against Norwich. I thought Norwich were doing all right, you know, and then they just kind of collapsed. Yeah, that was a difficult one. And then, of course, there's the Arsenal result. How do we get out of this situation at Arsenal? Should we have a look at some of the stats? I'm going to have to move my camera out of the way. Let me just go into the stats page. Let me just move myself over here. So, the worrying thing is, we all predicted this would happen. And as it was unfolding, I was still kind of surprised. Why? Why am I surprised when things like this happen? It was so predictable. When you look at these stats, it's a bit FIFA, isn't it? You know, when you lose on FIFA and then you look at the stats and you've done really well with shots attempted and things like that, and you're like, oh my God, have I lost that game? Yeah, you could argue that's what it looks like, but really, when you watch the game, I've watched it again, or at least comprehensive highlights, like a 30-minute full breakdown and analysis of the game, just because I was really keen to just see what the problems were. Again, because when you watch the game live and when I'm streaming and talking to people and when I'm doing the review, it's all very quick and it's done. I needed to see it again. The same problems every single time. Yes, we dominated the ball. Yes, we had more shots on target and more shots in general. But this 22 shots and 4 on target is abysmal. I don't want 22 shots if it means only 4 of them are on target. And let's be fair, 2 of those at least were just shots from outside the box that the keeper just grabbed. And what a goalkeeper, by the way, Raya. I love the look of him. He's superb. Is Arteta safe? I don't think he is. And, I've been an avid supporter of this man, this Arteta Donny. He has got great potential to be a superb coach, but is potential enough at this point? Is that what we need? I kind of feel like we are slipping. It's not just this. It's literally, we're slipping so fast. And unfortunately, in a situation like that, whilst it's great having a young, energetic coach that has these great ideas and certainly has a future in the game as a coach, and he will be one of the top managers, I'm sure of it. But right now, I feel like we're actually losing more than we're gaining. And this is the first time I've said this in a YouTube video since Arteta's joined. I've been very vocal in all of my Operation Arsenal videos and all of my streams that I've been backing Arteta. I've just been waiting for that moment for it to click and everything just looks good. And we had moments of that when we won the FA Cup. It was good. Everything was good, right? Everyone thought, fantastic. We got this new manager in. He looks good. The tactics work. We've beaten City, Liverpool, all of these great teams. And then the new season came, and obviously it's been massively disturbed with COVID and coronavirus. I'll talk about that in a moment because some people think that was a blessing in disguise, the fact that there was no fans at the stadium to boo the team and boo Arteta, which I kind of agree with. But going into the first game of the season, your expectations are automatically bound to be a bit higher because it's a fresh start. We're going to have, obviously, the game at the Emirates with all the fans back, and that will be different. And, you do have to remember this is just one game into the season. But the problem I have with this is I was expecting something different at the beginning of this season, and unfortunately, nothing's changed. We are still seeing Granit Xhaka picking up the ball with his back to a player near our own box and stopping, just completely stopping still and losing the ball. We're seeing fantastic play in midfield where we open up, in this case, the Brentford defence, and there are such clear and obvious passes through the middle, yet we're just spreading it out wide and hoping that Tierney can get a cross in. There are so many examples in that Brentford game where an incisive pass through the defence and we're in on goal. I'm convinced that Arteta is just absolutely obsessed with getting the ball out wide to Tierney or Pepe, whoever's out wide and in space, and crossing it in. And it's almost as if we're playing like we have Giroud in the team, which we don't. We sold him over 4 years ago now. I think, unfortunately, my opinion has changed. One game into the season, that has literally been it. One game. Including pre-season as well, I would argue. We were so poor in pre-season. Now, this is where my opinion has changed. I don't think Arteta should be sacked right at this point. My thoughts, especially towards the end of the season, I said it a few times, give him until the end of next season. If we are not in that top 6 come the end of next season, we have to seriously consider moving on because we can't not be in Europe. This is Arsenal Football Club, okay? We are now becoming, no offence, but an Everton, a team that could be up there, but they're struggling mid-table. That's what we are slowly becoming, right? So that was always my thought. Top 6 this season, and that's fantastic. Give him the season for it, to actually try and get that. Let him have this window, bring some players in, and let him have January. Now, at this point, I think I'm kind of edging towards Christmas. I think by Christmas, if we're not fighting for that top 6, or at least within a few points of being 6th place, where we're looking like we're edging closer, I think he might have to go. I think the reason that this has happened to me mentally is just that it was a shock. It was an absolute shock to the system that we were that poor. Things can change, and of course, we have Chelsea and City coming up, and it's very likely that we're going to have 0 points going into the international break in a few weeks' time, and that's absolutely horrific, right? So that's going to exacerbate things. For sure, having no points is going to exacerbate these things very much so, and for all we know, we could come back after the international break and go on a massive no-loss streak. We don't know these things, but the problem I have is because it's so unlikely, and because the more that he's potentially here and dragging us further and further away from where we want to be, the damage is almost irreversible. If by Christmas we're 9th place, 10th place, top 6 is effectively done, or at least competitively, it's going to be very difficult to get back in that. The damage is irreversible, and that there are managers available right now that could do a better job. And I feel really bad about it because I do like Arteta. I like him. He's definitely he's up there in terms of his thoughts and the way he wants things to work on the pitch, but he's not able to translate it to these players. Would he be able to do this at another club? Maybe not. I just don't know. But just for example, just because why not, Conte is available. Okay, now I'm not saying Conte would join Arsenal, and I'm not saying that we would target Conte, but you have to imagine that, let's say Arteta was sacked after a loss against City and Chelsea, and we're 0 points after 3 games, international break, and we part ways. It's not going to happen, but let's say it does. Conte comes in, we play 3 at the back. In fact, let me get up my formation thing. You're telling me that maybe something like this with Conte wouldn't potentially work. 3 at the back next season with Saliba coming back in, Gabriel on the left, Ben White on the right, maybe a new goalkeeper, who knows. I still don't think Leno is good enough with his feet. I think he's a great shot stopper, but we can't play out the back with him, and that's what we would probably want to do. We could have Maitland-Niles as the right wing back, but ideally we bring in a new right-sided player. Partey, Lokonga, someone else, maybe like an Aouar or whatever, just to partner Partey. Tierney as the overlapping left wing back. And then we could have potentially Smith Rowe, Saka. We could have Martinelli, Pepe, whoever we want in those wide areas. And then Aubameyang or whoever up front. I mean, I feel like, when Conte joined Chelsea and instantly from, I think, 10th place winners. Now, I'm not comparing the Arsenal squad to the Chelsea squad that won the league that year, but sometimes the system is actually better than the players themselves, okay? When you play in a certain system that just clicks, that works, it can change everything. And I fully believe that if someone like Conte came in, or any other manager that's already at a very high level and has successful experience previously with teams in a similar situation, any type of system that's different from this, it's not route one football with Arsenal, but it's similar. It's route wing football. It's literally just give it to Tierney and cross it. Give it to Tierney and cross it, and constant passing sideways. And we have space on the right and the left, but we always pull it backwards on the edge of the box and then find Tierney in behind. It's just constant. And, maybe I'm just desperate at this point for just something new, but tell me that this doesn't look good. Tell me that couldn't do really, really well with another year of football behind some of these youngsters. I honestly believe we could try this now. Obviously, without Saliba, we'd have maybe Holding come in there instead. Why not? We've got a strong bench down here that all of these players could interchange. I'm guessing Xhaka's going to stay because he's going to get that new contract. I think Pablo Mari was absolutely horrendous against Brentford, but I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because he has been quite good for us since he joined. He's had some good performances. Oh, I don't know, guys. I need to talk about my new updated feelings on Arsenal because it just feels like it's slipping away. And I know it's one game in, but I think what it is as well, it's watching the other teams that have improved so much. I mean, I know City lost and not everyone won this weekend, obviously, but the teams that did win, it was so convincing. And those are the teams that we're apparently trying to compete with. But we're so far off. Genuinely, our rivals this season are going to be Everton, Leeds, Aston Villa. Maybe, we can go toe-to-toe with a potential. I don't think Tottenham are going to get top 5. Maybe they'll be in that kind of 6th, 7th. Maybe Leicester will fall off slightly. I don't know. We are not competing with Chelsea, with Liverpool, with United, with City. It's impossible. Just to give it some perspective, okay? Chelsea, off the back of winning the Champions League, have gone and signed Lukaku for 115 million. They're just scrapping Abraham, effectively their 4th choice striker. Even Havertz is playing ahead of him up top. This is the level. We wanted Abraham. We want the scrap. Give us the scrap, because we're fighting to compete with you. Give us your 4th strongest strike. It doesn't make any sense. Whilst you've got teams like City that have already spent 100 million on Grealish, and yeah, okay, he might not be worth that in your opinion, but he is worth it. That's how much they paid. You're only as much as you're valued by the club that wants to buy you, right? They're going to bring in Harry Kane by the looks of it. He didn't play today. He wasn't even in the squad. That is insane. Man United have invested so well in Varane, in Sancho. Liverpool, I'm sure, will do some big business in the next few weeks. But even so, they've got Van Dijk back. They've got so many injury problems that they've resolved now. They're going to be back up there, 100%. You've got Tottenham, who soon are going to have another 150-odd million that they can reinvest into the squad, having already blown a load of money on Romero and some other great players. You know, man, it's just devastating. It really is. Now, the saving grace, guys, is that it can't get worse, really. Okay, so we've lost against Brentford. We'll lose against Chelsea and City. And then it's international break and the window will shut. In these next 2.5 weeks or so, we will sign 1 or 2 players. I'm seeing Coutinho linked today. I'm seeing Maddison still. Obviously, the most linked player at the moment is Ødegaard. It looks like he could be coming back. We're also being linked with strikers. We're being linked with other midfielders. Something will happen. And it's very possible that this is just a really bad start. Remember City last season and this season now. They started awful. They were really bad. And they went on to win the league. Now, of course, we're not going to do that. But we were 6 points off the top 4 last season. 6 points, okay? When you say it like that, we're not far off. It's just 2 losses, right? It's 2 losses that we need to avoid. But the thing is, everyone else has improved to a certain level and we haven't yet. That's the hope, that we do bring in some more players, that we do come back after the international break and get winning. Can it get worse? Am I wrong? I mean, I guess we could lose 5-0 to Chelsea, a Lukaku hat-trick, and Havertz gets 2 or whatever, and then get smashed by City. But the reality is, guys, it is very easy to just panic, and that's exactly what I've been doing this whole weekend. I've been panicking. I'm just thinking, oh my God, we're that far off. Arsenal are no longer going to be even within that top 6, let alone the top 4. Maybe not even the top 8 anymore. And it's not encouraging having such a young manager that's so inexperienced, you know, and it is starting to bother me. It really is. So, of course, stick around to watch more reviews as we lose. I'm sure my thoughts will constantly be changing, but that's what I love about doing these videos. I'm just able to vent and kind of do whatever I want with them. And hopefully you guys enjoy these kind of videos. Congrats if your team won. I'm happy for you. Believe me, I am. It's been an eye-opener just seeing even teams like Norwich, for example, who lost 3-0, but the way they attacked and their flow and some of the play was actually encouraging to see that it's possible. You know, that a team like Norwich can do it, and no offense to them, but you know, if they can, we can. We can play good football, and it's just I just haven't seen it in so long. Yeah, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this. Roll on next Sunday. I'll be live. Chelsea, please don't embarrass us. Please give us a break. We need some help here.